you everyone, my name is Olatunji and I'm here with my group members to talk about the topic information system and strategy. Strategic information system are those information systems that are developed to cooperate with a business initiative, like they help in competitive advantage. Then Michael Porter helped strategists to think about to add value to their corporation, and he gave us 5 competitive forces. The first one is threat of new entrants. When the threat of new entrants, this is when new businesses like startups are coming into the industry. When the threat of new entrants is high, the people in the industry will have to find ways to ward up the new entrants, because they can just start with little capital, few employees, and can do better. The second one is power of buyers. The buyer power can increase when suppliers have similar products, and buyers can demand discounts. For example, companies whose main buyer is the government deal with a very powerful buyer. Then the next one is power of suppliers. Power of suppliers can be high when they are the only ones offering the service or product, which makes them charge higher. Like even high switching costs can add to power of suppliers. And the next one is threat of substitutes. Threat of new substitutes is high when they offer the same goods or service and they attract, like they offer alternative savings. So for example, like technological advances will make more people want to go into technology. Like for example, if there is, for example, Coke and Pepsi. Once Coke is like now they are doing going a trip to Qatar for the World Cup. Once Coke is doing that, they're going to be attracting more buyers, and Pepsi has to find a way to get customers. Then the next one is rivalry among existing competitors. This one is very common in the industry, and when firms focus on price alone, rivalry is high. It makes the industry have slow growth. Like example, Brazil only has 4 main telecommunication lines, and the only thing that can stop one telecommunication line from going further, from stopping, is slow growth. Then we have factors that affect all the 5 forces and how they operate. The first one is disruptive innovation. This is when a new product comes into the market that can change the entire industry, like technological advances. Before we were using small phones, and now they are Androids and iPhones. So that's an example of disruptive innovation. Another one is government policies. Government policies can affect how companies in the industry operate and how they evolve. Opportunists try to lobby government on policies and make sure new entrants have low funding. Then the next one is complementary services and products in the ecosystem. Companies in the industry influence one another. Then the next one is events and wildcards. Environmental events like civil unrest, hurricanes, earthquakes, strike can affect the entire industry, making it hard for them to function because it can affect the whole 5 forces. And now my colleague is going to talk about the components of value chain and how.
My name is Jemima, and I'm here to talk about the components of the value chain, and I'm also here to explain its extended version. Porter's value chain model describes the activities a company performs to create value, as it brings in raw resources from suppliers, transforms them in some way, and then markets the products and services to buyers. The value chain can be divided into 2: support activities and primary activities. Support activities can be comprises of administration and management, human resources, technological support, and procurement, while the primary activities consist of bringing in of raw materials, making the products or services, marketing the products or services, delivering the products or services, and providing customer support. The extended version of the value chain helps us understand how all the processes are put together. It does not simply begin with when raw materials are being brought, and does not end when a buyer pays for a product or service. Now I want to talk about the role of information system in competitive strategies for business. Regardless of which strategy path a company follows, costs will be reduced by using information systems to support all back office operations. Information system avoids chaos by coordinating, scanning, and dispersing goods or services to the right place in lesser time. Launching a strikingly differentiated product or services also relies on innovations in the information system as well, and not just for high-tech companies. Grocery stores, for instance, offer shoppers smarter shopping carts with devices that scan a loyalty card and then guide the customers through the aisles. The devices can announce special sales, scan purchases, and total the bills to customers.
My name is Aaron Bolaji, and I'm here to explain how information systems apply strategy for non-profit organizations and governments. Some of the innovative strategies uses of information come from the non-profit world among charities, schools, grassroots projects, religious organizations, government agencies, and others. Reaching out to the constituencies is fundamental to most non-profit organizations, and two areas that benefited considerably from such are fundraising and volunteer management. Now, how does fundraising benefit from these innovations? Fundraising, many non-profits rely on donations and specialized information systems. They rely on donations and specialized information systems help manage the critical activity. Directly mail and telemarketing were previously the commonly used mode of fundraising, but now most of it is done online. Non-profits leverage information systems to learn more about potential donors, their preferences, their motivations, in the same way a company like Amazon does. The second mode which has benefited from this innovation is volunteering. Attracting volunteers and sustaining their attachment to the mission are essential tasks for many non-profits. The efforts are similar to those companies use to build customer relationships and develop employee loyalty. For example, Volunteer Match organization is a kind of matchmaking service that offers search shoes so people can find projects on their way near their homes that match their respective interests. Information strategies and governments. Like non-profits, government agencies have similar needs for the information systems to run the business, handling the operational requirements that all organizations share. They must manage their payrolls, budgets, procurements, assets, and inventories, and so on. Agencies also have some very specialized requirements that depend on their responsibilities and the varied services they provide. For example, the military needs real-time systems to manage logistics. Personnel and supplies can be rapidly deployed to trouble spots. Another example is state and local police. They also need access to extensive information systems on criminal offenses. The Department of Natural Resources needs easy ways for people to report poachers. That's another example. Now let's take a look at another subheading: how to increase access and enhancing service to the public. E-government involves effort to make unclassified information available to citizens via the internet and offer many interactive online services to save people time-consuming visits to government offices. Funding research for technological innovation. Government funding is vital to certain research projects that private investors might, and because of risk, or perhaps because the payoff is too far in the future. The project that eventually led to the internet itself is a key example. New information systems will be a strategic enabler for the grid with advanced capabilities to monitor power in both directions. The system will essentially enable the electric meter to run backwards when the customer is adding electricity to the grid, and they will help consumers see the patterns of daily energy use. Government support can speed this kind of development as it did for the internet.
My name is Ignatius David. Does IT matter? As technology become commodities and become widely used, by almost all organizations, their strategic value diminishes. The information system used to run organizations in particular are already available, and managers should focus on reducing their costs. However, the innovative information system in which creative people leverage technology to grow and transform the organization are critical for effective strategy. Advantages depends on the type of information. For example, funds to run business are considered commodity. Funds to grow and transform are more closely tied to strategy and advantage. And lastly, human element is critical for success. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Badijo Olaoli, and based on the presentation my colleagues and I have put together as presented, this is the summary of the presentation. The nature of competition in the industry form the context for every company strategy. And Michael Power's model describes the 5 forces that shapes an industry competitive structure. In addition to the structure of the companies themselves, many external factors affect how the 5 forces operates. Disruptive innovation, for example, can transform entire industry through the process of creative destruction. Organization can use the value chain model to understand the options as they serve to compete in the industry, primary activities and support activities from the major components of the value chain. Competitive strategies include low-cost leadership, product differentiation, and a focused niche strategy for the particular market segment. Non-profits take advantages of information system to manage basic operation and also the strategic enabler in areas such as fundraising and volunteer management. As technologies become commodities and become widely used by almost all management, the strategic value diminishes.